Hello, it's Saturday the 2nd of July. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this evening, an 11-hour terror siege in the Bangladeshi capital of Dhaka has come to an end, but not without a lot of bloodshed. Commandos stormed a cafe in an affluent area of the city on Saturday to rescue people held hostage by suspected Islamic State gunmen. Officials in Dhaka say 20 people were killed with, quote, sharp objects. The nationalities of the deceased have yet to be confirmed, but they are all said to be foreign nationals. The police say 13 hostages were rescued, including at least 4 foreigners. 5 bodies were found after the main building was cleared. 6 gunmen were killed by security forces. 2 police officers were also killed and many others were injured on Friday night at the start of the siege. ISIS claims it carried out the assault, but Bangladesh denies the terror group has a presence in the country. South Korea's foreign ministry says that so far no South Korean nationals have been reported missing in that area. South Korea has become the 21st permanent member of an informal group of creditor nations known as the Paris Club. It's significant as it marks the first case of a non-advanced economy joining the prestigious group. Hyundai has the details.
From one of the poorest nations in the 1950s, Korea is now globally acknowledged as a creditor country after joining the Paris Club on Friday. The club is an informal group of creditor nations that seeks to find workable solutions to payment problems faced by debtor countries, mostly emerging economies. Korea's membership came at the club's meeting to celebrate its 60th anniversary in Paris and marks the 20th country to join the group. The club's permanent members include countries like the US and Japan, as well as most Western European nations. And Korea is the first non-advanced economy to put its name on the member list. Korea's Vice Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok expects its membership to act as a catalyst in encouraging other emerging creditors to join the Paris Club. Because it's an informal group, the club does not hold official statutes, but the group has been setting rules and principles in global debt negotiations. It also works closely with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank that allows Korea to easily access information about debtor nations. Korea's foreign credit stood at roughly $710 billion as of the end of last year, almost doubling the amount posted in 2008. This has raised the necessity for Korea to be prepared for default risks in emerging economies. Seoul expressed its will to join the group last month at a summit between President Park Geun-hye and her French counterpart, François Hollande, in Paris. 황지혜, Arirang News.
Korea's finance minister has vowed to provide the younger generation with opportunities that allow them to start their own businesses through the so-called Korea Cooperatives. Yoo Il-ho's comments came on Saturday as he attended a ceremony held by the organisation. Korea Cooperatives produce, sell, buy and provide goods or services with a group of people. Around 9,500 cooperatives are currently operating here in Korea. The minister pledged to foster an environment of growth by providing them with financial support. North Korean coal is reportedly being sold on China-based online shopping malls, possibly indicating a violation of UN sanctions that severely restrict trade with North Korea. Voice of America reports that a number of Chinese firms are selling various types of coal imported from North Korea through companies like Alibaba. The going rate for a ton of North Korean coal is currently $200. South Korea's intelligence agency estimates that North Korea's coal exports have tumbled by 40% since the UN sanctions were implemented back in March. The measures were in response to the regime's nuclear test and long-range missile launch earlier in the year. China pledged just last month, in fact, that it would strictly implement the UN sanctions on its long-time ally. South Korea's intelligence agency has reportedly told Parliament that it arrested a man on espionage charges in May for sending information on domestic affairs to North Korea. Sources say the National Intelligence Service showed video footage of the suspect's arrest at an internet cafe in northern Seoul to the National Assembly's Intelligence Committee. They add that the suspect is a pastor who pretended to be a human rights activist seeking to help North Korean defectors. The man is believed to have sent reports to North Korea on multiple occasions, but the content of that information has not been disclosed. In Britain, two female Conservative Party MPs have emerged as the favourites to replace David Cameron as Prime Minister following the UK's decision to leave the European Union. The odds-on favourite, Theresa May, has reportedly already won the backing of senior members of the party. Andrea Leadsom, who campaigned strongly for Britain to leave, has also won the backing of dozens of Tory MPs. Michael Gove, Liam Fox and Stephen Crabb are the other names in the running. On Friday, Britain's Finance Minister George Osborne admitted that the Brexit result means he will miss his target of achieving a budget surplus in public finances by 2020. He said the British government had to reduce uncertainty by moving as quickly as possible to a new relationship with Europe and being super competitive. Korea's two largest automakers, Hyundai Motor and Kia Motors, are enjoying a bumper 2016 in the United States. Hyundai Motor says it sold slightly over 374,000 units in the US in the first 6 months of the year, a record high. Kia's sales to date stand at around 328,000 units, another record and 5.6% better than at this point in 2015. The automakers were boosted by the success of their crossovers, Hyundai's Tucson and Kia's Sportage. Now, it's said that Korea's traditional chicken and ginseng soup helps Koreans stay energized during hot summer days. And now, after clearing a major regulatory hurdle and a few words of praise from Chinese celebrities and Premier Li Keqiang, no less, Samgyetang is set to hit store shelves in the world's second largest economy. Our Park Se-young tells us more.
This is Korea celebrating its first shipment of Samgyetang to China at the end of last month. After a 10-year effort, the nation was able to send over a combined 20 tons of the traditional chicken soup. Once customs are cleared, the Samgyetang pouches will be on shelves at supermarkets in major cities like Shanghai.
We expect these shipments to China will pave the way for Samgyetang to be introduced throughout the world.
After years of negotiations, Korea and China agreed on new quarantine rules for the dish last October. Then earlier this year, 5 domestic processing plants, including Harim, completed the registration process for producing Samgyetang for export to China. The industry forecasts exports will reach $3 million this year and jump to 5 times that amount in 3 years, surpassing existing Samgyetang markets in the US, Japan, and Taiwan.
Our goal for the Chinese market is to export $1 million worth this year, $3 million next year, and to eventually get up to $10 million.
The Korean government plans to support Samgyetang exports through promotional efforts at the state level and in the private sector. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, Korea's modern architecture reflects the course of the nation's history and its inheritance. And a number of century-old buildings are still highly cherished and now stand as valuable education sites. Kim Mok-yeon has more.
Numerous buildings that were built during the period of Japanese colonial rule have been well preserved in Korea. The Tapdong Catholic Church, located in the metropolitan city of Incheon, stands as the first cathedral in the northwestern port city. The external walls of the building, made with a mixture of red brick and granite, reflect the typical architecture during the Middle Ages.
The Tapdong Church, which was first built in 1937, is relatively well preserved. Because of the building's beauty and sturdiness, we designated it a historic site.
The First Bank of Japan, which was first established during the late 1880s, also represents Korea's living history. The building's Renaissance-style dome in the center of the roof and stained dormer windows on the sides bear the footsteps of our past. Now, the building is being used as a venue to hold various kinds of exhibitions.
This structure is living proof of Korea and Incheon's modern history. It is now an educational venue that shows us how it was 130 years ago.
There are more than 20 such old buildings just along Korea's port city of Incheon. City officials around the country are continuing efforts to preserve and make use of such architectures as a foundation of
Now, finally, we're going to take a look at the weather here in Korea, and it is going to be a warm night, overnight, around the country. There will be a few scattered showers here and there, but nothing too heavy. Sunday will be another cloudy day in Seoul with some light rain in the evening, but since we are technically in the middle of monsoon season, it might be advisable to keep an umbrella with you, especially if you're in the south of the country, as we are expecting some rain down there. Highs nationwide will be in the mid to high 20s. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast. That's coming up at 10 p.m. Korea time. So until then, goodbye.